know, your ass better call somebody.
Efedding, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Efed management system Fed Wars. Its ongoing mission to explore strange new federations, to seek out new talents and new communities, to boldly wrestle where no man has wrestled before. Ladies and gents, welcome to FedCast Radio One-on-One, where we can and will discuss anything and everything in the land of Efedding. So just relax, we'll take it slow, and we'll let the good times roll. So welcome, ladies and gents, to the second episode of FedCast One-on-One. On the last episode, we of course talked to the guru of eFed management systems and owner of the fast-rising management system Fed Wars, which was pretty cool. But on this episode, folks, FedCast has hit an all-time low and is about to rapidly spiral out of control directly into the depths of hell. Today, we do a one-on-one interview with the king of controversy, the guru of goofiness, and the self-proclaimed celebrity playboy, Matt McMattio. Matt, how are you today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing most excellent, sir. So thanks for joining us on episode 2 of FedCast One-on-One. Did you happen to listen to the last episode we did with LAL?
Most of it, yes.
And what did you think of the episode?
Okay. It lacks entertainment, but that's all.
Was that because LAL was on?
Yes.
Okay, so before we get off topic, we of course want to discuss everything and anything we can to do with the land of Efedding before we do so. I guess I'll start with a simple question. How long have you been in Efedding, Matt?
About 2 years.
About 2 years, and where did you start?
Well, first I Googled fantasy wrestling, and I led on to the website, thewrestlinggame.com. I joined it. I had no idea what it was until I checked my email 2 months later saying that I had messages from there. When I clicked on the website, I didn't really like it. So then later that day, I just Googled, like, real fantasy wrestling, and then GFed came up. And then I joined.
So you didn't know. So if you didn't know what the site was, what made you decide to just register and join the site?
Well, because it said, like, wrestling online.
Okay.
And then
the site was appealing, so you decided to check it out and register?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just browse the site as opposed to just registering? Well, what was it that drew you and said, well, the hell with it, I'll just go ahead and register?
Because apparently, if I remember correctly, you had to register to see a page, which was kind of important in deciding whether or not you're going to use the site. So I did. Yeah. So
similar to what kind of, well, I guess it's not similar to what, you're of course familiar with GFed Wrestling?
Yes.
Okay. You could see the forums on their site whether you remember or not. Just eventually they took away the forums. That's right. Never mind. So okay. So so you didn't like TWG, or did you stick with it? Are you still there?
I didn't like it at all.
What was it you didn't like about it?
Just it wasn't real fantasy wrestling. It was just a crappy made version of like SmackDown versus Raw, but online. Except no, it was just crap. I didn't like it at all. It was a terrible layout.
Okay, and so you said you're familiar with GFed. You were of course on GFed.
Yes.
And was that your second stop over for eFed Wrestling, or did you go somewhere else immediately after you left TWG?
GFed was about, like I said, 2 months afterwards. I joined GFed. I had a slight idea what it was. I understood that you had to write these promo things, so I joined the Fed that seemed like had the easiest promo thing. I joined a Fed called Wizak Wrestling or something, ran by the Hall of Famer, Wizak himself. And my guy was, my role plays were around 5 lines, and I just copied off of everything else. And eventually I just started writing. I joined, a Fed called United Championship Wrestling, That Fed was like more serious, but it still was lacking good talent. So I started writing real interview-like things, and that really didn't lead me anywhere until September of 2010, when I started realizing, actually no, September of 2011, that's right, I started realizing if I want to actually win, I have to actually write. So what I did is I started writing like long, couple thousand words, real like stories. That's how I got better.
So you were basically copying and pasting other people's role plays in the beginning and just posting them in different feds. So now, did you receive a lot of flack for that? What made you ultimately decide, okay, I better stop doing this? I really would like to progress and actually do something in these federations. What did you get into trouble by one of the Fed owners? What happened there?
Well, originally I did that in Wuzok Feds, and he's not really serious about anything. But to the point where I wanted to try was in UCW. I still was in there. But then at that time, it got taken over by Tripmaster. But I really didn't care much for him at the time. I only cared for the co-owner, Ace Styles. And he told me, I'll let you join, but you have to be serious this time and actually really write. Because we don't have enough like slots open for people just to post on DBs and write crappy role plays. So that's when I opened Microsoft Word and actually really tried, which I liked it at first. And then I had to like stop writing like three.
So would you say that was the first Fed that actually gave you a chance?
Yes.
Okay. And what was it called and who owned it again?
Okay, originally it was United Championship Wrestling, owned by Ed, Big Dog 224, which is Ed. Then it was taken over by Tripmaster, and at that time, Tripmaster had Ace Styles as the co-owner of it.
Cool. And what were some other Feds in G-Fed that you enjoyed after?
I also enjoyed IWF, the Genesis, which at the time I was getting better, but I still wasn't good enough yet where I really competed. I enjoy that Fed, but I didn't stay there long enough to really.
Genesis was a good Fed. I actually liked the original Genesis better that was owned by.
Also, Mr. Parastyle?
Mr. Parasite, right? He was a great owner. So that was another Fed you enjoyed working in, but you just didn't feel you were on the same level?
Yeah.
And of course, we know you were in GOW.
Yes.
Yes, we can't forget GOW. No, we cannot. The innovators of Efed radio shows. So, anyways, and what did you think of GOW when you first joined?
Well, I originally wanted to join because it was one of the leading Feds at the time, and I liked the idea of 2 weeks to roleplay because it was like a more serious like roleplays then, because they weren't just quickly broken down.
We actually used to take a lot of flack for that. The reason we were bi-weekly like that, sometimes it didn't even take 17 days to run a show, it just depended, but it was mostly for people that were busy, like, actually had lives, didn't have time to sit around and write nonstop, and of course I don't have the time to sit and write nonstop shows, and also that by spreading the shows out and giving everybody an opportunity to role play and participate in the Fed, it also allowed for a certain quality standard, in my opinion, anyways, especially when you compared it to other Feds who a lot of the time were just simulating shows anyways, so we always wanted to make sure we had the utmost quality. We never had the greatest graphics in history. We're of course changing all that now if you've taken a look at the new GOW site as of recently, but we were more about show quality and show, roster participation, etc., etc. So
exactly.
But so yeah, we always tried to shoot for better quality. We didn't really give a shit about graphics or anything like that. What were some of the Feds that gave you a hard time? Like, did you find, maybe that weren't necessarily related to originally when you were copy and pasting promos? But we all know that G-Fed had a history of egomaniacs and trolls and so on and so forth. What were some of the problems you found you constantly ran into on G-Fed?
Marcus Williams, if you know who that is.
I do.
Okay, well, that guy was a complete idiot. I did not like that guy. Even though Tripmaster owned the Fed, I liked the other guy, Ace Styles more, but I didn't like the Tripmaster guy. I did not like, that, and...
Who are some people you might have had some problems with?
What?
We know GFed was full of egomaniacs and trolls and so on and so forth. Who are some people, besides, not necessarily just Feds you had issues in, but maybe who are some of the people you found irritating or constantly causing problems, likely ultimately leading to the demise of GFed, or as I like to refer to as the EFED management system that shall not be named, or shouldn't be named anyways.
Wazak, that guy was an idiot. I did not like that Cybertron kid. That kid has gotta be just like a freaking annoying as hell. I didn't really like the Marcus, Tripmaster, and I did not, what's the guy's name? I also did not like many of Marcus Williams' kind of lackeys and people who just followed him.
Pardon me, it's my phone. Go ahead, keep going. That's a nasty habit of mine. I keep forgetting.
You might not know him, but his name's like Y2D, Donald Bemis.
Right,
it's kind of annoying.
I'm familiar.
And Brian was kind of annoying.
Sort of an ongoing joke. Whether or not my phone will ring during an episode. Well, guess what? It did. And what were some of the things these people did and said to be irritating?
Well, Marcus Williams always wanted me to join his Fed, but when I did, his Fed either died within a week or I got kicked because
but is it because people would bother you, or was it because it was just a shenanigans, right? Just a Fed.
Yes.
Okay. Was it a decent Fed aside from people that might have been irritating, or was it just a clusterfuck?
Clusterfuck.
Okay. So GFed, of course, ultimately is now closing down because it's just it's just one giant trash heap now, right? It's been bled to death. I mean, they took away the community forums, the community chat. You couldn't properly advertise for your Fed. People are constantly bitching and chewing. Well, not so much anymore, I guess, but now it's closing. So with the closing of GFed, we now know, of course, there's another fast-rising EFED management system on the planet that is called FedWars.net, FedWars.net, FedWars.net. And although the owner is a bit of a fucking asshole, I'm just kidding, LAL. I kid. LAL's a cool guy. I actually enjoy talking to him and working with him, and he's actually been helping me with certain ideas and suggestions for GOW, along with Dave Demented, of course. So we have a lot of fun. So fuck you, LAL. Anyways, LAL's a great owner. He does get some slack for certain things, but as does any owner. I mean, everybody thinks they can run a Fed better, right, or an EFED management system better, and deal with the stress of doing so better, so on and so forth, blah, 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 suck my arse. But with the closing of GFed, do you foresee a lot of those Feds and or people coming to Fed Wars?
Well, to be honest with you, not really. The ones that are left, okay, well, like, the only three main active Feds really left are Championship Wrestling Entertainment, or whatever they're called now. They do not like a lot of people on Fed Wars. They even told us this before. They don't like many of the people. I don't think that one owner would know how to work it, because the guy's more used to getting what he needs and wants out of the owner. Every single thing goes his way. New Wave Wrestling. Do you remember that?
Right, yeah, owned by Chaos, right?
Yeah.
Or whoever owns it now.
They could come to Fed Wars, but them I'm not really sure about, because I think they're just active on the boards, because their role-playing doesn't seem like it's as active as it once was. And you got the Global Wrestling Federation owned by Marcus Williams again. That guy can't stop reopening that Fed again. And I don't think he'd like Fed Wars, because I think he tried before under a fake account, because if I remember right, the graphics were the exact same of his old Fed, and it really didn't last long, so I don't think he's really coming there. But other than that, like, the rest of the Feds are dead, though. That's why.
So, you don't think it's an issue with Fed Wars, the site itself? You just think these people wouldn't fit in, or don't feel they'd fit in, or just are plain and simple good enough to have a Fed run on Fed Wars then?
Yeah.
Now, do you foresee some people from GFed coming over? Because there are quite a few people, so they're not always logged on or what have you. Matter of fact, last time I was there, and was sucked in by the devil's temptation to actually go onto the crappy site and check it out. There was like 9 users. I think there was 6 actually logged on, and 3 guests. So there was 9 users online. I don't know. What do you think? Do you feel that there's people there that would fit in still?
Yeah,
to Fed Wars?
A couple.
In my opinion, Fed Wars is 100,000 times better than GFed ever was.
But you need to understand, many of those users left. Many of them are many of them run many accounts. So if person A is logged on, there's a chance that person also runs person B, person 3, person C, and etc. So,
yes, because you're, of course, able to have multiple accounts on GFed.
Exactly.
People did that a lot at the time. But, aside from that, do you feel that there's users that are talented enough to come to Fed Wars and have a good time? Yeah, okay. That was what I was wondering. Now, you're, of course, a part of Fed Wars, because, and you know LAL and Wow Food, Dave, Mike Park, all the people that are there. Some of them, of course, came from GFed. Do you enjoy Fed Wars? Do you think it's, how do you compare it to GFed?
Well, you need to understand something. I view Fed Wars as itself a completely different thing, because GFed was more of a EFED management system, whereas everything's kind of built around the feds. Like, there was really no, there was obviously forum posts and all, but it wasn't really much of a community atmosphere there. It's more of, you joined a Fed, you really didn't leave that.
Yeah, especially in the end.
Wars, there's many things to do inside of it.
Especially in the end, because of course, they, like I said before, they kind of They took away the community forums and the chat room. Now, of course, LAL gave us that all back in Fed Wars, plus more. Not only do we have more features and a better community, it's free to run a Fed. Now, if you don't keep your Fed active, which is as simple as, and LAL slap me if I get this wrong, so I believe it's every 3 days at least you have to be posting on your forums in your Fed, and that's not a lot to ask. So, if you as a Fed owner can't accomplish that, then you don't need to be owning a Fed anyways, in my opinion. And then if your Fed closes, then you have to purchase $10 a year VIP service to keep your Fed going, or resurrect the Fed if it has closed down. I think that's pretty cool. A lot of people had an issue with that, but hey, he gives you an opportunity. If you don't make use of it, then you should, you reap what you sow, right? So
yeah.
But no, what do you think you'd like? But what would you? Okay, so you like Fed Wars, you like LAL, you like the community. What would you like to see come to Fed Wars as far as features go, or maybe some additions to make the site better, what have you? And do you like the new layout?
I do like the new layout.
It is pretty sexy, isn't it?
Yes, but I
much sexier than its owner, of course.
A new chat room on there.
A new chat room? Yeah, that chat room sucks. See, I tried to get him to use even an exact chat for now. Of
exactly.
Course, he's completely against that. He's a fuckface like that. He doesn't like any of my ideas.
But the thing is,
he's mean to me a lot. He sends me rude messages and tells me he's going to shut my Fed down if I don't cooperate. And I'm the only federation in Fed Wars has to pay to keep my Fed open. He's an asshole. But anyways, seriously though, I do like to kid about LAL. He is one ugly Mexican. But what would you like to see? What would you like? So
he's saying how he doesn't like the XAT chat, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's completely against it, but he's like that. Any of my ideas get shot down. No wonder I'm not a BOD member. I'd make a suggestion and he'd throw it in the trash. Fuck you, I'm not doing that. He'd say, nah, he's an asshole. But what would you like to see aside from a better chat? Because I agree, the chat sucks ass. It kicks me out. And he's like, "Oh, it'll only kick you for an hour." Meanwhile, a day later, I'm still kicked out of the damn thing. So. I absolutely hate it. I'd like to kick him in the balls for that.
A better friend system.
A better Fed system?
Friends.
Friends?
Yeah.
How so?
Okay, if you're already friends with somebody, that link that says add as friend should not be there if you're already friends with that person.
Oh, right. Okay, so if you've already added, right. I know what you mean, because when you add a friend, you go to their profile, it'll still say add a friend on there, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't quite get that either, but what else, though? I personally want to see the networks come back. I liked the networks. I thought it was a cool concept. it was fun to watch and see which feds would end up with which network. And it's a great alternative for people that want to get more involved than just writing, but don't actually want to run a fed. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a cool concept. I'd like
That's
to.
what I want. Networks back. I don't know why he ever took that away. I never really understood why that
because
happened.
we liked it. Probably because I said I liked it. You know, fuck, Archer likes it. I'm gonna get rid of the goddamn thing. It pissed everybody off. Blame Archer for it. Prick that he is. But yeah, I liked the networks. Another thing I'd like to see. I don't know if you agree, but well, you don't run a Fed, but I want the ability to rearrange categories and pages. Also, with the pages thing, when you create a page, everything accumulates under one menu, one drop-down menu. I'd like the ability to have additional drop-down menus so that when I create pages, I can put them in either or, rather than having a bunch of pages all under one drop-down menu type of thing. I guess there's a 3.0 coming out. You probably heard about that, right?
Yes.
So hopefully something. Now I hear we're going to have different theme and layout options. You can either have drop-down menus or not. So that'd be cool. And well, what do you think? What do you think of that idea of being able, like, I know you're not an owner, but from an owner's perspective, would you think it'd be good to be able to like, I know you should maybe realize what you're doing ahead of time, but sometimes you add categories or sometimes you add pages and you don't want them, and you're going to want them in a certain order, right?
Yes. That makes perfect sense.
Right. So you should be able to reorganize that the way you want to. But, of course, when I originally mentioned that, he's like, fuck off, I already do enough for you. He said, you should think of that ahead of time and put your pages in order when you create them. He's so mean to me. I don't even know why I'm in FedWorld. I should just go back to ProBoards or go to Envision or some goddamn thing. And create my own eFed. I'll create my own fucking eFed management system. LAL, you bastard, you. So, anyways. So, yeah. What else would you like to see? Well, that was my opinion. You know, it's like a couple of my ideas. Well, and what would you, in addition to what I've said, maybe like to see?
Honestly, that's basically around all I want to see. It's just networks, better friend system, and better chat room. That's it.
All right. So you're really happy with FedWars and the community that's building. And did you get along with the community?
Well, there's some members I find kind of annoying, but that's
who would those members be? This is where anything can and will be said. Just blurt it out. Who cares? If they don't like it, they can always click stop.
I find the Hitman really annoying.
I actually don't have any problems or ill will with anybody, but
because for whatever reason, I just got on one day, and then for whatever reason, that one Hitman guy just started being a bitch to me for whatever reason. I never did anything to him before then.
And of course, a bunch of us like to tease you on occasion too. We like to have fun bothering you. I think you sometimes take it too seriously, though, don't you?
I guess I do.
You know we're just kidding. We don't really dislike you, right? It's just, I mean, it's a fun thing to pick on people. I mean, it's eFed wrestling. It's all fantasy. It's all for fun, jokes, gags.
Until somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, you just kind of gotta go with the flow and not take it too seriously, or else it can drive you nuts, right? So
yeah.
But, why do you think we like to tease you, though? And I'll say we, because of course I've been known to pick on you here and there. Hell, my intro picked on you alone, so.
Because people often tend to hate those who are overall better than them.
Oh, so you're better than us. Awesome. I like that. Possibly better than us. That should score some hits on the forum. I can just see it now. As soon as people are listening to this episode and hear you say that, there's going to be 100 posts on the forum all about you. Anyways, all right, that's cool. So you just think we like to bother you because it's the way we deal with responding to people we feel are better than us then.
Mm-hmm.
That's a most interesting and excellent response. It should be interesting to see the turnout over that answer. Does it really bother you when we bug you, or do you just like to play along and goof around and pretend to be depressed and all that?
Well, I'm okay with it.
Depending on who it is, maybe?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Because, some of us are joking, maybe some others aren't. Who would you say you have the most issues with in Fed Wars as far as somebody that you legitimately think doesn't like you?
The Hitman.
The Hitman. See, I haven't had any problems with this fella. Of course, I haven't really worked with him or anything like that either, but I mean, is this guy just a dick overall, or just likes to pick on you? Or,
yes, just likes to pick on me.
Any reason for that? Did you copy and post somebody's role play into his Fed
No.
or cause any issues?
Well, I mean, I stopped doing that like over 2 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you feel you've come a long way in the last 2 years from when you started copying and pasting role plays to actually writing to making yourself a more productive part of the community, etc., etc.
Yes.
All right. And how do you feel you'll fare in the new GOW era? Because of course we're going into a new era. We were actually we were on hiatus for about 3.5 months because my original computer, the video card, fried, and I just couldn't afford to buy one immediately with Christmas and birthdays after Christmas and dental surgery and a bunch of other crap that everybody's probably saying, shut up, we don't give a shit. But so anyways, a 3.5 month hiatus. Luckily enough, I maintained a guest list on the site for about 53 people, which isn't too bad. So people were paying attention, and I was posting from time to time, letting everybody know, hey, GOW is not closing down, it's not going in, because people speculated, and I had people messaging me and rumored. So yeah, no, it was never actually shutting down, and it's not resurrecting. We're simply continuing our legacy on Fed Wars. We've moved. And in the new era, of course, we're evolving to the point where we're not going to actually write shows anymore. I don't know if you've been paying attention or not, but some people will, some people won't. But we won't be writing shows. What we will be doing is booking shows, and we will have a special edition GWcast Radio, which I believe I'm going to call GWcast Showtime, which is dedicated to shows and pay-per-views. And what we'll do is have a panel of guests. Those guests will be responsible for reading the role plays, judges, if you will. And come showtime, we will sit down and actually discuss the promos, because of course we don't call them role plays in GOW. We stick to the fantasy side. You know that already. So we will be discussing the promos that we viewed and discussing what happened at the show, who won the matches. And it should be a good time, actually, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's a lot less time-consuming than writing. I'm sure you saw some of my old shows. They did literally sometimes take me 3 days to write. Because because I was picky. I didn't want to just post crap. You know, I always said if I owned a Fed, I'd stay dedicated. I'd make sure that things were to the quality where it's, you can actually sit down and read it and not fall asleep type of thing. So
you didn't simulate it, that's what you're saying.
No. Remember, GOW Genesis were recap shows, which would recap what happened at the events. And pay-per-views would be fully written matches, segments, commentary, etc., etc. So it was a lot of work, very time-consuming, but it was worth it, I think, in the long run. And GOW is going into its 5th year here shortly. I mean, in November we'll have been open 5 years, right? So one of our next pay-per-views will actually be... why do people call me? It's my wife, too. See, this is... First she texts me. Now she's calling me. It's obsession, I tell you. She knows when I'm recording and does this shit on purpose.
Wait, so Michael, what do you do for your for GLW's 10-year anniversary?
Well, we're coming upon our 5th. I'd like to deal with 5 first.
That's what I'm saying, though. What are you going to do then?
I don't know. I couldn't answer that. I will do something interesting for sure. I want to deal with 4th and 5th first because, of course, very next pay-per-view we're going to do is Ringmaster 4, which is usually December or January. But as a result of everything, it's going to be a little bit late this year. So we're going to do the 4th annual Ringmaster pay-per-view after GOW Genesis 30. By the way, GOW Genesis 30 is coming up, so dust off the promo recording skills because, of course, you know that there's a over-the-top rope elimination challenge where for the first time since the inception of the Federation, the GOW World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line and up for grabs. It's vacant on GOW Genesis 30. So it's the first time since inception that a regular show has seen a vacant world title being offered up for grabs. And I believe, actually, if I was to do a little research, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, I don't think we've ever offered up the World Heavyweight Championship in an over-the-top rope elimination challenge before. So this is kind of history in the making as far as GOW Genesis goes. As far as GOW goes, period, I guess. So But what do you think? Do you think you're going to be more successful this go around? You, of course, won the GOW Genesis Rising Star Championship back in the day. That title is now defunct. We went back to 4 championships. We have the GOW Genesis Main Event Championship, the GOW World Television Championship, the GOW World Heavyweight Championship, and the Legends Championship. And the reason I got rid of the Rising Star Championship is I really didn't think it was necessary with the main event title. People should be worrying about trying to get that title, not a Rising Star title. You're already a Rising Star going for the main event title, so it was kind of pointless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm really considering resurrecting the tag team division. So, 2 things, I guess. How do you think you'll fare this go around? Do you think I should resurrect the tag team division?
I do not think you should resurrect the tag team division yet. You should see how it goes on FedWorks for the first few months, and if it goes well, then do it, but otherwise, just wait.
Yeah, because tag team divisions don't always work.
Yeah, but the question you asked me, the first one about how I will do, my answer to that is, I think that I'll do well, and by the end of the year, I will have won the World Championship at least once.
Very cool. I'll say this thing, and I have, of course, stuck up for you in the past, but I'll say this. Anytime you're in GOW, you behave a lot, well, I'll say behave a lot better than you do, say, on the forums, or, I've of course heard stories, and people have said things about when you're in their Fed, da-da-da-da-da. We won't get into that. It's not important. It's in the past. But I've never had an issue with you in GW. As a matter of fact, you were a fairly dedicated member. You didn't always max out, but you wrote at least one role play for show, and
that's what I do.
That's cool, and it shows some loyalty, etc., etc. You're already on the new GOW roster. So I personally, other than the fact you can be pretty goofy sometimes, don't have an issue with you at all on a personal level. I think some of the stuff you do and say is pretty funny, actually. But I don't speak for others, and I think other people just like to pick on you because you're younger, to be quite honest. But so, yeah, you're probably right about the tag team division. I probably will pull. I am going to probably pull the audience on that one, or of course the roster members. I was just, pull the audience from Millionaire. Never mind. Anyways, I'll probably go to the roster members and send it a notification, or maybe post something on the discussion board to get people's opinions on the tag team division. I know some people like it, some people don't.
So what are you going to do with the Pro Board site? Are you going to ever post anything on there again?
The Pro Board site is now a giant FedWars advertisement. Actually, if you go there, I've deleted all the categories except for one category I created that literally says, click the FedWars graphic to visit the site. And if you do so, of course, it takes you right to FedWars. The idiot that I am, I should have had it go right to GOW, but no, FedWars. I did a favor for LAL, who does his very best to piss me off on a daily basis, and of course make fun of my Fed and threaten to delete my account. Such a great owner, LAL is, yes. But anyways, so okay, well, before we wrap things up, it's been a great interview. I'm sure we'll sit down and talk again another time, but before I wrap everything up, I'm just going to maybe name a few different things. We're going to play word association, or name association, if you will. I'll name something or someone, and you give me your opinion or thoughts, or it can be a word, a sentence, a phrase, whatever. Let's start with Efedding.
I would say my view on that is a misunderstood hobby.
Okay. GFed.
A trashy website.
FedWars.
Promise.
LAL.
Annoying.
Mike Park.
Smart.
GOW.
Greatness.
Very cool. That scores some points. FedCast Radio.
Promise.
Okay. And let's go with WoW Food.
Genius.
Fed Wars Community.
Annoying.
Okay, so, but all joking aside, yes or no, you're happy being a part of the Fed Wars community.
Yes.
You expect good things to come out of it, and ultimately, it's going to be the demise of GFed.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah, and I guess one last question, and we'll fade out with this question. Again, thanks for being part of episode 2 of FedCast 1-on-1.
You're welcome.
What do you think of LAL? Not on a personal level, because we've already answered that. He's a complete fucking arsehole. But what do you think of him as an eFed management system owner? How do you feel his reign as, I guess, king of eFed management systems is concerned?
He should, be more of an active role player, if that makes sense. He should play the sport that he's making.
So you think he should be a part of a community or a Fed and actually... Well, he is in GOW, so we'll see what he does with that. But I do agree. I think if you're going to run the site, I think he should at least be... Now, he is active on the forums, but I agree. I think he should maybe... and, that's another thing about GOW. You're going to be able to do other things other than just role play as a wrestler. You'll be able to role play as a manager or a referee, a dirty referee, a general manager, a stable. There's going to be different character options, so you don't have to role play as a wrestler. So it appeals to, because some people want to still write, but they don't want to write about wrestlers anymore, right? So I figure, why not offer other characters out there? They'll still be able to come into storylines and be a part of but the non-wrestling characters won't role play as often as the wrestling characters. So later, if you decide yourself, for instance, you don't want to write 2 role plays a show, you can maybe turn the celebrity playboy into a manager, or maybe he's going to decide to be a referee or what have you. So that gives you something to think about.
Well, on that note of GOW, my role plays over the next year are going to be more of my imagination and my thoughts and feelings towards certain subjects.
Very cool. So, and again, you think, just to wrap things up, you think LAL should be role-playing with a federation and being more involved in that sense then?
Yes.
Very cool. All right. Again, thanks for being part of FedCast 1-on-1.
Thanks for having me.
Episode number 2. It's been a pleasure. We shall talk at you soon. And I am out.